Hello, my name is HAPruitt, and I'm the author of Anelthalien, and I'm the author of Earth Quaking. And in this video, I'm going to talk about interior formatting. My first book, Anelthalien, was, I did it with the publishing company Elm Hill, which is a division of HarperCollins, and so they did the interior formatting for me, and so that's why it looks nice and pretty. But for my second book, I did self-publishing, and I did it totally by myself. And so I did the interior formatting by myself, and you can see it looks pretty similar, and that's because I worked very, very hard to make sure it looked as similar as possible to Anelthalien. And so I am going to teach you in this video how to make your book look professional whenever you're a self-published author, because self-published authors, we have to help each other out. It's tough to self-publish your book. I know, because this is my author copy, but right now, Earth Quaking is out on Amazon and you can buy it. So please do go buy Anelthalien and read it, and then I'm like 90% sure you'll want to keep reading Earth Quaking. So please do buy those on Amazon, even if it's just to look at the interior formatting and copy off me. But in this video, I'm going to tell you how I did my interior formatting. I'm going to kind of just run down the bullet list to look for, and then I'm going to do kind of a vlog part I took while I was doing the interior formatting of Earth Quaking. There's a chapter beginning, and I will just explain to you what I did. So I will also put this down in the description in case you want to like go back and look at it again while you're doing it, so you have kind of like bullet points of things to check off your list. So when you do your own formatting, you're going to need to download a template, and I downloaded mine from KDP, but there are other places to download templates from. So, and when you download your template, you can either first type your manuscript, or you can download the template and type your manuscript into that template. If you plan on copy and pasting, I wouldn't bother with a front and back matter. And when I say front and back matter, I'm talking about the title page for front matter, the copyright page, the table of contents, if you have a dedication page, that's front matter. That's front matter. Back matter would be the thanks and the author notes, things like that. Back matter is anything that comes after the main text, your body text. And so just before you do formatting, just worry about typing your manuscript and then go back after and do the front and back matter. So whenever you have your template, either you copy and paste it or you typed it in, focus on the body text first. Make sure you have your font, type, and size consistent all the way through. I suggest Times New Roman, or like I think Baskerville is another one that looks really close to Times New Roman, and a 12-point font. 12-point font is what people are used to reading, and it's easy to read. And Times New Roman is a serif font. A serif font simply means a font that has a little foot. You know how when you see the little T that has a little hook? That's a serif, the letters that have a hook. And letters that have the hooks, the serif font, it guides your eye through the letters. If it's a sans serif without the little serif, then it doesn't have the hook, and it makes your eye work a little bit harder to read, and so it's a little more tiring. And so you want your sentences to flow the best they can. Use a serif font with the little feet so it guides the eye nicely. Times New Roman, people are used to that. I would go with that as a foolproof default. Also, you want to do not 1 point spacing in between lines, the spacing in between lines. Don't do 1 point spacing. Do 1.15. That's enough room to give your eye breathing room, but not too much to where it's just too much space in between the letters. 1.15 spacing between the letters, or the lines. Then you want to make sure you have no space before or after your paragraph. A lot of documents, like Word document, which is what I did this on, they like to put the space after the paragraph or before the paragraph. Get rid of those, set it to 0, so you don't have any more space than you do between your lines. You want it to look consistent. Next, whenever you're going through your body text, justify your text. Justifying your text will make it be even on both sides here. And I talk a little bit more about the problems you might run into when you justify your text later in the video in the vlog part. So stay tuned for that, but you want it justified because that's what's standard in a professionally done book. So you want to make it justified. Then next, in your body text, drop cap the first letter of each chapter. This isn't necessary, but it looks professional. It looks fancy. So let me find one of my chapter heading, or my beginning of my chapter. I chose the longest chapter to look through. So your drop cap, and you can make it bigger than that or smaller than that. What you do, you go to Insert, and then on the Insert tab, you're going to go over, it's going to say drop cap. It's going to give you options. Open up the little box that gives you more options. Choose drop cap. Choose how many lines you want it. I chose 2 lines because that's what was in my first book, Anelthalien, so I copied it as closely as possible. And then you can decide if you want it closer or further apart from the drop cap letter and the rest of the text. You could spread it out a little more if you want. And it lets you give those options. I had no idea how to do that, and so that was like a revolutionary thing to me. I was like, oh wow, it's that easy? It's that easy. So next, after you do your drop caps, create section breaks so each chapter is a new section. You might want to do that first. It doesn't matter what order, but that's when you're dealing with the body text. Make each chapter its own section. This will save you a lot of headache. Often in school, like I learned to do the page break, and that gives you a new page, but that doesn't make it a new section. And whenever all your chapters are the same section, then it's going to connect them all, and that will mess up your headers and your footers. And so do that, and we'll talk about that in a second, why it's so important to make each chapter its own section. What is next? I wrote down my notes. Let me find where I was. Do not do page breaks, do section breaks. When you use a KDP template, the last page of a chapter may be centered vertically on the page. So I'm going to flip back a page. So this, whenever I put it on the KDP template, it put this text right here. And all you have to do is just press enter, and it shows that there's information here, and so it will put it up. Turn on your grid lines on Word document. It will show you when you get to the top of the page, so you don't like make it go flying into oblivion like Word document does. So it's up and not in the middle. I don't know why KDP templates do that, but they do. So make sure that your chapters end at the top. And also I had a lot of problems with whenever I did that, whenever I was formatting, I would get rid of the last punctuation mark on the end of my chapters just with all the different buttons you have to press. So make like double check that you have your last punctuation mark at the end of each chapter, because you do so much at the end and the beginning of each chapter. Also check for widows, orphans, and weird justification. I talk about the weird justification later in the video, but widows and orphans would be if I just had like these two words on this page instead of all this text. They're all by themselves, widows and orphans. And so you want to make sure that you don't have any less than 7 words on a page by themselves. And you can change that by kind of looking through and seeing if you can put 2 paragraphs together or split up a couple paragraphs, and that will usually give you another line on that page. And if you can't do that at the beginning of the chapter, just give it a little bit more space at the beginning of the chapter. Just like bring it down just a little tiny bit, and that will usually carry everything over so you have nobody alone and by themselves. It doesn't have to be anything big and revolutionary engineering on that. Just adjust things just a little bit so they don't have to be alone. So next, whenever you're formatting, work on the section headings, like the chapter titles and the sections of the titles of sections. You want to make sure your type, your size, and your capitals of your font are all consistent. It doesn't matter what you do with your like chapter titles. It just matters that you're consistent throughout. And what I did, I talk about this in the vlog part of this video, but I made sure that I had, let me find it here, I wrote it down. I had 16-point font for the majority of the word. I had 20-point font for the first letter, and I made sure it was all capitals. And I talk about how to make your word all capitals in an easier way than typing with the caps lock on. So just make sure they're consistent. You can use a fancy font. You can use an embedded font. I don't know how to use an embedded font. They made it just like this simple, clean, good-looking title in Anelthalien, and so that's what I copied in my book. And whatever you do in the chapter headers, you also want to make sure you mimic that in your front and back matter, like my table of contents. I also did the same. The first letter's a little bigger, 16-point font for the rest of the word, all capitals. Be consistent throughout so your book looks like one cohesive thing instead of just like some random person did this part, some random person did this part. Then for your section headings, the placement. Okay, so if you don't have any pictures, and most people don't have pictures, if you don't have any pictures, chapter titles will usually hit about right here on the page. And I know you're like, well, how many inches down is that? Where do I go? It doesn't matter exactly where you put it. Find a book, measure it, turn on your grid lines, turn on your rulers, and put it there. It's just a matter of where you put the first one to make sure you put each one after that in the same place. Consistency is more important than the exactness of where you decide you want it. But it's usually above the middle of the page, but somewhere like 2/3 or 1/3 up from like 1/3 down or something. I'm bad at math, so don't ask me to explain how 1/3 and 2/3 is the same. But it's usually around right here. I can say that. It's usually around right here, your chapter title. If you do have pictures, I dropped my stuff, hold on. If you do have illustrations and pictures like I do, then it's going to be a little different. Do your pictures and try to make your pictures the same size. As you could probably see in my pictures, they're not all the same size. Like this one is definitely a different size than this one. But I tried to make sure that they hit about the same bottom level on each page. And so you want to align them with the top right here. Turn on your grid lines, and if you look through the page, you can see that it's aligned with the top of the paragraph. Turn on your grid lines, position it vertically, manually, and then horizontally go in to the image and center it, and I will show you how to do that in the vlog part. But make sure and try to get it as consistent as possible. I think mine are about 2.5 inches each. And then from there, I put 2 spaces below it and 2 spaces below it, put the chapter title, and 2 spaces below that. So again, be consistent. Consistency is more important than sticking to what somebody says this is correct or that is correct. As long as you're consistent, it will look professionally done. Next, headers and footers. Make each chapter its own section. I talked about that before. Make sure you do that. Then unlink your sections. Next, choose different odd and even pages. Then choose a different first page and make that first page blank. If you see, what I mean is make that different first page blank. You don't have the header, you don't have the footer. That's what's professional. Not really sure why, but that's what was in Anelthalien, and that's what's in a lot of books, so that's what I did. And then for your header, you can put your author name, you can put your book title, you can put your chapter name. I alternated. I put the book name and the chapter title. And make sure you have your chapter title on the left page throughout the book, and your chapter or your book name on the same page throughout the book, and your chapter title on the same page throughout the book. And that's why it's important to do different sections, because if you just keep all your if you do it just as one document and don't make each chapter the same section, all of your headers are going to be exactly the same. So if you want to do your book title and your author name, that works. It still overall makes it easier to do section breaks, so each chapter is its own. So that's headers. I talk more about that later in the vlog, so stay tuned for that. Then make sure you position it so it isn't too close. I think like I did as far down as I could for the page number. I adjusted it after this copy. As far down as I could for the page number, and I made 9-point font for the page number. I changed this, and I talk about how I changed it, so I won't go into the font type of that. But I think I put it like as centered as possible, maybe like 0.4 or 0.5, this spacing up here. That will make sense when you go into a Word document. I know that sounds like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it says, where do you want the header? And there's like 0.5, 0.1, 0.0. So I think I have it 0.4 for the header. You don't want it too close to the text. You don't want people to get distracted. I dropped my thing again. You don't want people to get distracted by the headers and the footers. You want them far enough away that they're there if people see them, but they're not distracting. So let me get my thing. Next, with your footers, you want to insert the page number, and you want to begin on page 1, which is your first chapter. If you look in books, they have the Roman numerals on the front matter, Roman numerals, and then once you get to chapter 1, it starts on page 1, and I'll show you how to do that in the vlog part. And next, front and back matter. Front matter, your title page is your title only, and you want that on your right-hand page. Then you want a blank page on your left-hand page. Then you want a title page with the full information. Let me show you those real quick. Title page, your first page of your document is a right-hand page. And I also wanted to say that Anelthalien had a nice little buffer page here in between the title page and the cover, but whenever the KDP templates are weird sometimes, and so whenever I uploaded it, it inserted an extra page, and it said that you can't have that. You cannot have 3 or more blank pages in a row when you upload your book to KDP, and so it made me take them out, and so I don't have a buffer page here. So start on your title page. That's going to be your right-hand page. Then you're going to have a left-hand blank page, full title page, full information on your right-hand page. The next thing in your front matter will be your copyright. And I talk about that more in the vlog part, and I'll put it down in the description. The general paragraphs that you have to put in there. Then you have your table of contents. I talk about that too in the vlog. And then you have your dedication page. And I just put mine where Anelthalien kind of had it, just a little bit. I measured it, like I got out my graphic design ruler. I'll show you that in the vlog. And I measured it and I put it as close as to where it had it in my first book, Anelthalien. I think from the middle up is the general standard area to put your dedication, and put it in italics. And then Amazon will insert a blank page, so chapter 1 is on the right-hand page. I kind of like got really crazy and scared because I was like, in my Word document, I didn't have this page, and so I thought I had to put it in, and I get really confused in the vlog part. But whenever I actually tried to insert a page after the dedication page, it included 2 more pages, and it said you can't publish your book with that extra page. So don't worry about putting an extra page between your dedication page and your first chapter. I know it's weird, they add pages and you're like, why did you do this? Just check through and look through your front and back matter very carefully after you upload it, and it lets you have that preview in Amazon. Look at your preview carefully. So next, I only have a few more things before we get to the vlog, and I show you how to actually do these things. The back matter, you can have an about the author page, a call to action, the author's note, or thanks. A call to action would be telling people thank you for, like I put, thank you for reading Earth Quaking. I would so appreciate hearing what you thought of this book and the first book in the series, Anelthalien. Please leave a review on Amazon, Goodreads, ChristianBook.com. Your blog, Instagram, or Facebook reviews help authors so much. And then I give my social media information, and then I say thank you on another 2 pages. Say thank you to your people. If you're a self-published author, you probably have a lot of people to say thank you to. And it's good to say thank you to them. They will appreciate it. And then the illustrations. I think I talked about this already, so I'm just going to go through it real quick. If you have illustrations before each chapter, use the grid lines to position them. Turn on the grid lines in Word document. Use the format. Whenever you click on the picture, it brings up that format, and you click on position, and then position it with the text on top and bottom, not through and not around. And then align it with the little box you click on with the column and horizontal. I explain this better in the vlog part. And then the size, again, be as consistent as possible. So now, I don't want to make this video longer than necessary. I'm going to show you how to do these things in the vlog part of this video. So let's get to that. Hello, this is my interior formatting blog of my self-publishing book, Earth Quaking. And so here I opened the document so you can see I already used the template I downloaded from Amazon, the 6.14 by 9.21. That template, I downloaded it from Amazon, but the templates you download from Amazon have a lot of flaws, and so I have changed it quite significantly. And I am doing my last go through, and so I've worked on it quite a bit already. I may not remember everything I've done. I did make a video, but I ended up changing a bunch, and so I got rid of that video. So if you have any other questions that I don't answer in this video, please do ask in the comments, because I may have done it and just forget to talk about it here because I have done so much already. So to do this, I got my first book, Anelthalien. Hope you can see it. Anelthalien, and since it was published by Elm Hill, a HAPruitt, publishing company. They did the interior formatting, and so it's professionally done and it looks really nice. And so I went through and I looked at what Anelthalien has and I copied it the best I could with the resources that I had. And so that is where I got the format that I wanted to, because I wanted my books to match also. And so what I have not done yet is, I keep opening things I don't mean to. I have not put, before the title page, there's kind of just a blank buffer page. And so I want to do that. So you just insert, and instead of inserting a blank page, like you probably learned to do in school like I did, you want to insert a page break, a section break. You want to make sure, instead of doing page breaks in between all your chapters and all of your different sections, you want to actually do section breaks. And so layout, breaks, and then you can have the section, next page, insert a section break at the start of the new section. And that way you can have different headers and footers. And so that may have messed some stuff, but I can fix it and you can watch along with me. And I also want to insert another one. So your first page that you have on your document is going to be when you open the book, it's going to be your right hand page. And so this page right here is going to be this page right here. And so you want a front and back blank page at the beginning, or at least I do. And so you see I have a header from my other sections, and that happened because you see the same as previous right here. Your headers are all going to be linked unless you tell them not to be. And I don't want a header right here. I want this to be completely blank. And so you go up to here, under header and footer, it has link to previous right here, and you just click that to turn it off. And so now you see it's not going to be the same. And I can just get rid of this without changing any other section in my document. And so double click to close your header and footer. And I got to make sure that I didn't mess anything up. I like to keep my pages kind of small so I can see the layout of everything and kind of the spacing. If you put it big, you can see the words well, but you can't see the full effect of the page. And so you have your buffer page here, you open your book, this is going to be the right page, left page, right page, and so you're going to have your title page. On the back of it, you want it blank. You want that blank, and then you want your title page with the full information on it next. That's going to be also a right-hand page. It says Earth Quaking, the title, written and illustrated by HAPruitt, and then you have your company logo and your website. Since I am self-publishing, my publishing company is HAPruitt, Something Different Publishing, www.hapruitt.com. Please visit it. It's wonderful. I published my own book. And then the copyright page, you want to look in a professionally published book by a traditional published company and see the little thing, all rights reserved, no portion of this book may be reproduced, stored in a blah 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 da da da, on and on and on, that paragraph, just saying that nobody can copy your book without permission. I want to put this in bold right here, and you want to use a slightly smaller font. For my page, for my copyright page, I use 10-point font. Then you want to have published where at in the United States of America by HAPruitt. For information, visit my website. I wrote my website out. And then cover and interior illustrations are created by and copyright of HAPruitt. You want to give credit to your illustrator. If you have one, I'm my own illustrator, yay. I made my cover, made my interior illustrations. And then the publisher's note, if your book is a work of fiction, you want to make sure you have the little note that says this is a work of fiction, and the names, characters, places, and incidents are either products of the author's imagination or used fictitiously, and just making sure nobody can sue you because you use their grandma's name or something like that. And then you want your ISBN numbers down here. I have my paperback and my ebook. And then my table of contents. So all my headers I formatted to be all capitals with the first letter slightly larger. And the way to do that is you go up here by all your font formatting. And right here, when you click down on the big A, little a, it says all uppercase. You can make it all uppercase. And then once you make it all uppercase, just give a bigger font to the first letter. Novel idea. I have 16 font for the majority of the word and 20-point font for the first letter of the word. And then for my table of contents, it may look really fancy and like, oh wow, how'd you do that? You set a tab right here. You just click and set a tab. So you type your title name and then you click tab and you hit the page number that it's on. And so you want to make sure after you go through and do your final changes that the page numbers are still the correct page numbers. Make sure of that. And I lined them left. And how I did that was I clicked the tab at a certain place and then I just put a space in the single and double digits so that they lined up on the right side with the triple digits. And yeah, I'm super fancy. So then I have my, oh, and you want to make sure your footers are different here. You want the V, the VI, capital Roman numbers, and the VII. I had a lot of trouble with this, and I did it. I just unlinked all three of them and typed individual footers into each one so that they did not link to anything else. And then for my dedication page, I kind of have it in the middle of the page, italicized for my maker who holds me when I am shaken. Yay! Oh, okay. And then that's going to be a right-hand page. And so your left-hand page will be the first chapter. I also have my author proof copy. If you're doing it on Amazon, order a proof copy. See, it says not for resale. It has this banner across it, but you can read through it before you publish it and mark in it and make sure you have everything like you like. And so that, I 100% recommend doing that. So let's see. I have a blank page after my dedication page there. So I need to put in that blank page. I don't know why it's gone, but it is. So let's see. So you want to click after your font, and then you want to go to layout instead of insert. Go to layout, breaks, and insert a section break. And then you're just going to have like that. And since you created a new page linked to this one, it's going to have the same footer. Go here, say don't link to previous, and just get rid of it. See? Simple as that. So next. Okay. Want to close header and footer, double click in your text. So now your headers in your chapters, do it just like I did on the table of contents. Make them all capital letters, and then I make the first letter slightly larger. I chose the font 8-point and 7-point for my headers because I don't want them to distract from the rest of the text. And for the page numbers, I did a 9-point font for the page numbers. And you go up to header and footer, and I like them really low, and so footer from bottom 0, and the header from top 0.4 to make sure you have enough space there so they're not crowded. And they're not on my first page. Sorry for the screaming if you can hear screaming. They're on my first page because I have clicked, if you look up here, different first page. Professionally done books do not have the header and footer on the chapter title page here, the first page of your chapter. They're not there, and that's how you do it. You click a different first page right there so it doesn't show up. My first chapter is backwards, and so I need to go back and fix that. You want to make sure that all your chapters have, so in my book, let me see if I changed it though, if I put a page there. This is confusing, guys. Okay. So you got to really think about your left hand, right hand pages. Left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Okay. So right, left, right, left, right, left. It's on the left page. This is going to be on the right page. So this page, the beginning of your chapter, is going to be on the right hand side when you open the book. Right hand side. So let me go and make sure that that's correct now, if that matches. Right hand side, right hand side. So it says Earth Quaking on my left hand side. In the second chapter, does it say Earth Quaking? No, it says the chapter name. And so I want to make sure that that's changed. So instead of deviation, see, deviation is a chapter name. Some people put the author's name and the book title. I want the chapter name and the book title as my headers. And so to make it like the rest of the book, I'm gonna type Earth Quaking. That's super, super small. So I'm going to make it bigger while I work on it, so we can see these 2 pages. So Earth Quaking, so it typed it just normal. So like I said a little bit ago with the chapter headers, the chapter headers are the same way, except of course different size. You just go home. I put them all in 7-point font, and so you just make it lower by clicking the A down if it doesn't have that selection. You make it all capitals by hitting this button, all uppercase, boom, all uppercase, and then you go back and individually do this. You hit the A with the up button to make the first letter a little bit bigger, because it's fancy, you know, super fancy. There we go. Super fancy. Now it's like the rest of the book. So let's see. I said this was the right hand page and that's the left hand page. That's confusing. So Earth Quaking, and then it's going to have what's in my opposite page, because I have them set even. You see even page number and odd page number. You do that whenever you click in header and footer, different odd and even pages. That's how you get different headers on each side. So instead of Earth Quaking, I want this one to say deviation. So again, D-E-V-A-T-I-O-N, deviation. Go highlight, go to home, go all uppercase. I want it 7, go back just the D and make that 8. Fancy. Now it should match. My even pages should all say Earth Quaking throughout my document. So there's the end of that chapter. That's an even page. It says Earth Quaking. Okay, that has been fixed. I made a list. This is my list. Put a blank page. I did that. I made the logo bigger. Dedication page. I didn't write it on here. Okay, doesn't even matter. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about on here is if you have chapter pictures. I have chapter pictures because I'm my own illustrator and I can afford to commission myself for free. So with your chapter pictures, you want to get them kind of flush with the paragraph. And it's kind of hard to eyeball things, even if you are an artistic kind of person. So go to View, Grid Lines, and look at here. You can see where your paragraph is, and you can see if it's kind of lined up with the paragraph. And me, I wanted it like just a little bit below, and so I kind of left, I said if it's around 1 square below, that's where I want it at. And whenever I got the book, if you look, I probably can't see it if I show you, but I'll try. When you look through the page, it looks like it's flush with the paragraph behind it. So you can kind of see through the page there. There, you can. It looks like it's flush with a paragraph, and that's what I wanted. And using the grid lines really helps you to line things up. And also I want to click on the picture format. You have to text wrap it first, top and bottom. That's what you want. Whoosh, didn't change it. Okay, and then you go to position. And then instead of choosing one of these, because it goes crazy, more layout options, and you want alignment, make it centered with the column. Because when you're making a book, since the book has left and right pages, you need a gutter in between. You know, like the gutter is the thing that goes where the book meets. And so there's all my stuff falling out of my book. Your gutter's right here. And so you want a larger margin right here. And so that's why my pages look a little different, but you want to go by the column instead of by the page, because if you align it with the page, it's going to look a little to the left whenever you align it with the page, because you have this gutter space and your page goes back where people can't see it. And so it will look off center unless you align it with the column, meaning aligning it with the text. So align it with the column, and just hit OK. And it should be in the center. My chapter title, I made the most of the font 16 font, and then I made the first letter a 20 font, just to make sure you have that clear distinction between the first letter and the rest of the letters. To do this thing beguiled me, like I did not know what in the world to do. And now I hope I can find it again. Let me think. Insert, you go to insert, that drop down tab, insert, bing, and then you go over here, drop cap. That's what you want. That's how you do a drop cap. You will highlight your first letter. Where's my mouse? Highlight the first letter of your chapter, go to drop cap. You want dropped and then drop cap options, and I set it lines to drop 2. I like how that looks. That's what they did in my first book, and it looks nice to me. Distance from text. If you have a weird letter like an A, you may want to adjust this, but I think with just like a standard square letter, it looks fine just the way it is on the 0. But it will move the rest of your text further away. And I want it in Times New Roman. Click dropped, lines to drop 2. Okay, I don't want to change that. And again, let's go to the second chapter. So speedily, I know, right? Like, look at this. Okay, my chapters are short. We're at the end of the first chapter. And see again. So I have my grid lines, and I can see that's at the same position the first one is. I can look here. It looks right. It looks the same. I can look on my even page here. Click my header open. Even page, Earth Quaking. We're good to go. We've got that taken care of. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, I still have my grid lines on, but I'm going to take them off because I don't really need them for this. Well, I'm going to leave them on because it helps me to see it. So let's go back at the top. So again, your first page is the left-hand page, your second page is the right-hand page. And as you can see with the grid lines, it's tinier over here than it is over here. So go to layout, go to size of your page. And you may have to type in, because like I said, the templates of Amazon are wonky. So you may have to change it. My book size was 6.14. The height was 9.21, and I had to manually type that in with a custom size. And so it made it the right size of page, not inside the grid lines, but the right page size. And then after that, you want to go to margins, and these I used, so not everybody has one of these, but I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. This is called a graphic design ruler right here, and it has font sizes, and that's how I measured in my book Anelthalien to know what to put my font sizes as in Earth Quaking. So it has font sizes, it has points, it has agate, it has shading, it has inches, and it has picas. So, and then it has some different things on the other side, but I mostly used my font sizes and my inches to know. I measured the inches in my first book of the margins, so let me put my hand back there so you can see. I measured the inches in my first book to know how to do the spacing on everything from the margins to how big the pictures were to how far I needed to space between the pictures and the chapter titles and the chapter paragraph. So I measured everything, and I also used the font sizes to figure out what font to use for everything. So I used that, and I figured out that in Anelthalien, the top margin was 0.76, the bottom was 0.76, the inside was 0.76, the outside was 0.6, and the gutter was 0.14. And the gutter is the thing that you really need to pay attention to. It's going to be in between your pages. So it's the preview. This shaded area is what's going to be hidden, like in the middle of your book where the binding is. And so that's why there's more room on one side than the other, because when you have a book, you put part of this stuff right here in the binding where nobody sees, and so you actually see like that. And so you can copy my margins if you use the 6.14 by 9.2 or whatever it was. If you use this size page, this size book, then it would be good to use these size margins. And I had to manually put those in because halfway through the template that I downloaded from Amazon, it changed. It went back to like 8 by 11 letter size. So you got to make sure your whole document is the same. And I had to do that manually for different sections. It says apply to this section. For whatever reason, it would not let me apply it to the whole document unless it was really messed up. So try the whole document. If that doesn't work, go by section. Amazon's templates are really wonky sometimes, but it's all there, so I'm not going to change it. So as you can see, a little bit more space on one side as it should be, and you can kind of get a good layout. You can see this is a left and right page because you have that wider space there. Okay, so this is gonna, and you can see what it's gonna look like from there. Yay. So I see something odd here. I need to figure out why this is like it is right here, because there's two same pages just like that. I don't think it will matter because there's nothing on this page. So I think that is all I wanted to point out here with the formatting. Like I said, I've done so much to this thing. I don't know if I could remember everything if I tried. Also, my chapter breaks, I created those images on my own. I drew them, and so I just had to go back and make sure I had the same spacing in between my little chapter break images here. If I take off the grid lines, you can see that it doesn't show up as a picture. It shows up as a little chapter break. Yeah, and I went back and I looked at all of the page numbers are really wonky too, guys. Let's see. There was a way you could insert page number, and then you can format your page numbers, and a little box pops up. And this is where you can do your Roman numerals, I, whatever. Like I said, that didn't work for me. And you can pick at the page to start at, whatever page you actually want to start at. And that's how I got my number ones to start on like the 9th page or whatever, instead of on the very first title page. You can set it start at whatever page and make sure your cursor is on the page you want to start at. That was still really odd and wonky. I don't want to change that. It took too long to make right. And so I think whenever I inserted it, I had gone to the footer page number and just hit bottom of page and the plain number 2, and then I reformatted it to be the size and the font that I wanted, and it worked like that. It was real wonky. Try different things with the page numbers if you're getting difficulties, and ask questions on this. Ask questions to your friends if you're having trouble, and hopefully you can work it out. Sometimes the simpler solution is better. Don't try to be too fancy. So, I think that is everything I wanted to show you about the book. Also, if you are independently publishing your book, let me go all the way down to the end. It is a good idea to put a buffer page after the end, after your final words, put a buffer page here, and then do an author note. Tell people where to find you. Keep the hyperlinks for your ebook. Turn them off for your paperback book because the blue shows up very light and people can't see it. And to have a section where you say thanks to people. Put your picture there if you want. If you don't, that's fine. I wrote like little notes to different people who helped me, and I wrote, please write reviews for this book. Do ask people to write reviews. It's very important, and show them where to follow you because marketing and stuff is important.
yeah, so I think now that is all I want to show you. If you have any other questions about interior formatting, I had to figure this out on my own, and so I learned it pretty well, and it took a long time, and so I know how to do some stuff now. So please ask me, and I will answer my questions the best I can. So that's all for now. Also, I wanted to say with the interior formatting, you need to justify your text, and that is as simple as left hand, center, right hand, justify all of your text, and that will make it flush on both sides. And sometimes when you justify your text, Word decides to do things like this. You can see the sentence right here. Make it a little bit bigger so you can see the atrocity that it is. Two words or several words get split up, really just no reason for that. If it's at the end of a paragraph, hit back so it makes the next paragraph up, and then hit that, and that's as simple as that. It fixes those crazy problems like that. Simple fix.
Thank you very much for watching. I know this was a long video. I hope it was very helpful. Again, you can watch this anytime, ask any questions you have. More is in the description below. Please, please, please ask questions. I want to help other self-published authors because, like, this is tough. Interior formatting is a lot of little details and it's tough. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video. Please leave me a comment. And please do go and buy Anelthalien and look at the interior formatting, and go and look at Earth Quaking and look at the interior formatting, and read the body text and enjoy the books, because they are Christian fantasy books and I just absolutely love them. They're fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. Bye! If you want to know more about Anelthalien or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anelthalien, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anelthalien is. The website is HAPruitt.com. My notes are everywhere. Okay. 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 Put your shirt on, boy child. My name escapes me. Hello. Okay.